What's going on, hustlers? Back at you guys with another video. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Day Cantave. I am 22 years old. I've done over 120 government contracts. I've done a little over $3.2 million in revenue with the federal government, selling products to the Defense Logistics Agency while working part-time at 22. I am a commercial multi-engine pilot and flight instructor. And as you can tell by the medals behind me, I am an ultra runner and marathoner. If you're looking for information about government contracting, you're in the right place. If you're just getting started in your journey and you're looking for guidance, you're in the right place. If you're already on your journey and you're just looking for some inspiration, some motivation, or some information, you are in the right place. Now, today's video, we're going to be going over quote unquote the easiest $13,500 I've ever made. So I'm going to be showing you guys the back end of a contract, kind of what it looks like, and then showing you guys kind of the difference between what I do selling surplus material to the government and then what most other people are doing in terms of selling brand new factory new items to the government, which is awesome. Completely fine. It's just surplus is my thing. That's what I prefer to do because there's some differences in the way that you conduct your transaction. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. I'm going to give you guys the whole sauce, show you guys everything. I've actually got the contract here. So I'm just going to share my entire screen, my second monitor. So here it is, order for supplies or services. You can see the date of the order here, October 31st, 2024. And I believe today is November 6th. So this came in about a week ago. I should have made this video earlier, but life just happened. So here's the contract number. Here's who was issued by DLA Aviation, 2 Lines Aerospace. Boom, here's the cage code, 8 Bravo Papa Echo 2. And then here's your boy's initials right here, just so that way you guys know it's me. I'm not really yapping out here. I don't really care if you guys can see the address or anything because it's all public information. You just look up our cage code. You can literally find our address. It is what it is. And we live in Florida. So everybody's carrying in the office in the event anybody wants to try anything funny. Everybody got that pole on them. But one of the things that I want to discuss before we go any further about the contract, about what it was for, how many units, the price point, my quote, all that good stuff, I want to show you guys the offer and the date of this quote. So I had a couple contracts that I could have gone over, but I wanted to pick this one specifically to illustrate to you guys that government contracting is one of those things where you plant seeds and then like 6 months later you get paid on it, right? So you can bid on contracts and 80% of the time you bid on a contract and then a couple weeks later you win it. Sometimes it's only a couple days later. There's my signature on. For any of you guys are new here, that's my thing. It just happens in these videos. But I wanted to pick one to kind of illustrate to you guys, hey, you might bid on something, right? And we give you guys all the metrics and we tell you guys how many bids to submit. And you might bid on something and you might not hear about it. And if it's not awarded, canceled, or removed, or you haven't gotten an email saying you lost it, you're still in the running for it. So all the stuff that you bid on and then 2 weeks later you win and then you get paid on it within, 14 to 21 to 28 days or whatever the case may be. That stuff is awesome. But the seeds that you plant that you might not see sprout, you will still get paid on them later on. So I bid on this July 28th of 2023. This was actually before I went to flight training. So this is why I picked this one, because it's like, you know what, this is freaking a great example. And if you guys want to see some of our most recent contracts, you can just head to Dibs, go to the awards tab, look up 8 Bravo Papa Echo 2, look at some of our more recent awards. So you can see, I am who I say I am and all that good stuff. But July 28th, 2023. So I really like this business model because the work that you put in now is going to be the stuff that pays you later on. So if you wanted to take a sabbatical, if I wanted to be taking a sabbatical for the past year, or let's say July is the 7th month, we're in October or November now. Let's say I wanted to take a 15-month sabbatical, I would have still been winning contracts. I would have still been getting paid for it from these contracts, which is something that I really like about this business model. So now that we've established that, let's talk about the dollar value of the contract. So it's 13 and a half bags. It's 13 and a half racks, $13,500. There you go. And it's for 3 units. Now I really like surplus stuff because it's 3 units. And then I want to say that these are like $4,500 or so. I think that's exactly the number. So I really like that. This was a nice one, and then we'll talk about the profit margin and stuff like that. So $13,500 was the revenue. That's like the gross income, and then I'll show you guys kind of the net income, the take home, here in a couple seconds. So let's come down here. We're in section B. This is where you'll always find, your NSN number, your quantity, etc., etc. So this is some structural supports for an aircraft. I want to say that these were going on a helicopter. That's what I want to say. It was a little bit of some time ago, so I don't always remember. But here's the NSN number. Here's the quantity. So it's 3 units, and it was $4,500 each. And here's the amount. Now, I really like surplus because my average profit margin with surplus stuff is 28%. So we're going to run the numbers on what my average profit margin is in this instance. But I just wanted to show you guys. And then here you can see Sikorsky Aircraft Corporation. You have the cage code and then the part number that I sold to the government. And then if we come here, so this is the quote that I got from my vendor initially, and I want to talk to you guys a little bit about this. So here we've got the same part number, the same NSN number. We see that it's new surplus, and then there's this label here. But before we get to the label, let's talk about the unit price and then the total amount, right? So at first glance, you're like, okay, this guy made 2.2K. It's solid, right? It's a solid deal. Now, I was actually able to negotiate this down, and I was actually able to get this for $9,500. So $9,500. And then if you do the math on that, it actually ends up being, I believe I want to say $3,167. Or actually, let me do the math. Yeah, so it's $3,166.67. So yeah, I was able to shave about $600 off of each one of these. So it's an $1,800 difference, I want to say. So $1,800 on top of my initial $2,200, that puts us, boom, at a very nice number of $4,000 net profit take home. So if we divide that 4,000 divided by 13,500, that puts us at 29.6%, which lines up with my average profit margin of 28% on this contract. Now, it's not a crazy big number. I also like to show you guys stuff like this because it's more relatable. If I'm showing you guys like the $280,000 like first article test contract that has prototypes and stuff, that might not be super realistic. It might not feel tangible. It might not feel achievable. My goal here is to show you guys, what it looks like when you're first getting into the game, or if you're going after some smaller contracts and stuff like that. So average profit margin is 28% on surplus. This one we were able to take home almost 30%, which I'm quite happy about. Not bad for a 22-year-old kid making $4,000 off of one transaction, net profit, cash in the pocket of the business. That's take home. And then I also got this on net 30. So the reason that my quote number is different than the number that I actually got it from is because I kind of have an agreement with this vendor. I've done well over $250,000 of business with them. So our agreement is along the lines of, hey, listen, once you win the contract, come back to us and then we'll take care of you. But we have to be fair to everybody. So then if you request a quote from us, we got to give everybody similar pricing. Some people get a bit of an edge, and then on the back end is where you get to really work your magic. So if you guys are looking for insight on how to do all your negotiating and stuff like that, if you're looking for insight on how to get access to surplus stuff, where to go to find surplus stuff, how to do your market research for surplus stuff, click the link down below to book a call with our team, and we will take you through the entirety of that process if you're looking to get into surplus or selling products to DLA in general. Now, before I start talking about this awesome label here, what it means, how to read it, I don't know if I'll go that in depth. I want to keep the video kind of digestible. I do want to take a brief minute to shout out the sponsor of today's video. It is Lucy. Lucy is an all-in-one government contracting software, and you can do so much with it. And honestly, I really believe that for the price, not even just for the price, I just think genuinely it's the best government contracting software in the game. And at the price point with which it's offered, you really cannot beat it. It's so much cheaper than all of the other softwares that I've mentioned previously.
Introducing Lucy, the best all-in-one software for DLA div suppliers and contractors. Let's check out some of the top features. In the market research section, search and find RFQs with various search parameters including estimated contract price, FSC codes, tech docs, ISO JCP flags, and much more. Click on NSN to open the NSN dialog for quick access to NSN history, approved sources, and more. Click on approved source cage code to view company details. And finally, add as many filters as you like and save your searches for quick access. You can save as many searches as you like with different search parameters. Once ready to bid, simply do one-click copy RFQ to your CLM bidding board. Now let's check out CLM and bid management features. Bidding Workspace will help you stay organized, track your bids, and speed up the bidding process. Now let's look at the solicitation we just copied over in detailed view. System recognized the associated suppliers for a given NSN product and automatically placed them in the supplier quotes table, so we can go through and request quotes from all the relevant suppliers for a given NSN product. Once the supplier is chosen, simply select it in the product details section. Notice most of the information will be pre-filled in from the contract. Then go to the service details section to enter all other costs including shipping price and any associated labor costs. System will do all the calculations and show us the summary of our bid price, margin, and the profit at the top. We can also attach any relevant documents in the files section and take notes to track the progress of the specific contract. Once ready, simply place your bid in divs and change the status to bid placed in Lucy and move on to the next one.
And we're back. So let's talk about the label. So this label right here, this is a government new surplus label. So here we've got a contract number, we've got the part number, and then we've got the NSN number. So because we have all of this, I actually got to forego a lot of like the upfront stuff or a lot of the back end stuff in terms of compiling traceability when it comes to fulfilling this contract, because it was subject to this. This is a request for evaluation. This is what it looks like. So they'll say, also, please provide surplus certs and labels for the subject solicitation. Send them to me by, et cetera, et cetera. That was the date that you told me to send them to her. So I fill out paperwork in advance, and then I send her copies of the material and of the labels. And then they do all of their like validating of the parts and making sure that it's good on the front end. So on the back end, I don't have to deal with traceability and stuff like that because I do all my work front loaded. So that's one thing that I really like about surplus is I don't have to do a lot of the extra stuff like the compiling stuff, making copies and just counting how many go in the envelope, how many go in the box, how many do I need to keep in my folder for my own internal records. So that's why I really like surplus. So this is a request for evaluation, or a reval for short. Give credit to my mom, she came up with that word right there. But that's kind of like a little bit of insight into kind of the difference in the process. Whereas factory new stuff, it's kind of really backloaded, like the back end of the contract is where a lot of the work takes place. Not to say that with surplus stuff it doesn't, but the process is just a little bit different. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed kind of getting some proof of concept from me, seeing kind of the aspect that I do business in. And I hope that maybe if you were unfamiliar with surplus, maybe this like switched a light bulb in your head about a way of doing business with DLA. Or maybe if you're in services and then you came across this video and you were like, maybe I want to sell products. So if this video achieved any of those things for you guys, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Any constructive criticism, any feedback is always welcome. And not only am I looking forward to your success, I'm absolutely sure of it. Let's go print those dollars.